This is episode 95 of the Gold Squadron podcast. I'm your host, Dion Morales, and today I'm joined by William. Why am I trying to fly B-Wings? Hagewood.
They get free cannons now?
And Marcel, Scooby Skippity Doo Manzano.
That is not what I wrote.
Scooby Skippy Doo.
There you go. Skippy.
There you go.
Gotta give love to Skippy.
All right, well, I want to say thank you to everybody who's joining us tonight. Today is all about lists. We got new points. We're going to be talking about some lists. We reached out to our patrons and said, hey, guys, give us what are some things that you're trying out with this new points. I'm trying to figure out like some type of, and I've talked with a couple other podcasters, and we haven't come to an agreement yet on some type of way to address this new point system, like not system, but the point. I know it's version 1.2, but I don't want people to get confused that it's like first edition, like people who are new players. So we need to come up with some type of naming convention to call each of the things, especially like with the YouTube videos and all the games we put out, like to be able to put it somewhere on the thumbnail so people can reference it. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. But yeah, we're talking about lists.
But it should be 2.1 or 2.2.
Right, but I think like
actually it was X-Wing 2.0, and then you got point. Yeah.
I'm just worried if they end up. Oh, I like that one. 2.1.2. I was just hoping to make it smaller. I don't know.
No. Just 2.1, and then the next one is 2.2.
But what if they end up going to a version like a points list version 2? Then, like if the first number changes. Anyway, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. All right. So really quick, if you are not a patron, or if you're not interested, I mean, if you're not a patron, you can absolutely listen to the next about 5 to 7 minutes. It's really, really important. We got some really cool things we're talking about, but it's a major update. So patrons, please listen up. Absolutely massive update that I need to share with you. Please hang with me. Okay, so we have officially migrated the Gold Squadron Patreon from a per episode model to a per month model. The reason for this is a lot of people, especially a lot of new people, were really confused and didn't read that there's like a center paragraph in there, and it's kind of buried in there where it said, hey, we only do 2 charged posts a month. And then I got a lot of like messages like, well, how many episodes do you post? You guys do like all this stuff already? Do you like charge us every time you do something? So to simplify it for now to the future, it's just a single dollar amount per month. And anybody who, if you have a pledge, let's say you have a $3 pledge, you had one, you're in that veteran tier. The new veteran tier is $6 because we would have done $3 times 2 equals 6. So every single tier is like that, except for one of them. That is the old $2 tier. Unfortunately, with the cost of creating the rewards and shipping and all that, the $2 pledge actually doesn't even cover it. Not the $2 the old $2 pledge, like the $4 total, doesn't cover it with time spent and all that. Like it was one of those where I was slowly dwindling it down as people left the tier, and this was an opportunity to move out of it. But to save you time, I sent out an email. If you don't have it, I can send you the links and the instructions with all the things in there. It's super easy. All you got to do is go to Patreon. If you log in, select a new tier, double check your address, you're done. That's it. You won't get double charged for this month. You have until the 28th to get it done for March because we got bonus swag. Bonus swag. And man, I wish I would have pulled it up here. We got bonus swag. You know what? I can get it so you guys can see the article here. If I get creative, give me a second. Come on. Boom. And then we go to browser. All right, here we go. So patron swag, upcoming patron swag, is all of this depending on your tier, and I specifically want to talk about the bonus swag. So as long as you get re-upped, you alter your pledge, by the 28th, you will qualify for the bonus swag. So anybody who's in that rookie tier, so that's if you were doing $1 per episode, which is a total of $2. Normally that tier doesn't actually get things shipped out, but because you took the time to update your thing, I'm going to send you our upcoming mall ink drawing card. Super awesome. You could see it right there if you're watching video-wise. If you update to the veteran tier, you get a full art back Poe Dameron. This is something usually that the squad leaders get, where they have the full art on the back of the card. You right there, veteran, you're going to be getting that full art Poe Dameron, as well as the Maul and the other things that are in the set. The 3-card set, excuse me, 1, 2, 3, 4 card set that you see there. If you are in the Aces, you're going to be getting 1 copy of a mystery upgrade card. It's our first upgrade card that we're doing using some of our art. We're gonna have some fun with picking that. More details to come here in the coming weeks, and you get everything below that when it comes to the bonus swag. And then last but not least, the Squadron Leader tier, the creme de la creme. You get the upgrade card, you get the full art Poe Dameron, you get the Maul, and you get our first ever frosted plastic Poe Dameron pilot card. I am so excited to get this in my hands. So good. It's so pretty. It's just beautiful. Like, I'm super excited about it. And I did get a couple questions. Somebody asked, well, Dion, do you get that still if you were never a patron before and you just jump in? Yes. You get it anyway. This is just like a massive, guys, let's just get this done. Let's get this updated. So, because honestly, it was a pain for me too, having to sort the old spreadsheets with per episode, because some people only did one of the two. It was such a pain in the neck. But we're getting that fixed to make it easier for anybody who wants to support us in the future. And the full list of rewards, it's listed on Patreon. You can see per level, and basically it's a sideways move. If you go from that, you were $3 per episode times 2 = 6. That $6 tier is you're not losing anything. It's exactly what you were getting before. The biggest thing for me is I wanted to make sure that nobody lost, or I guess the only people who quote unquote lost is those $2 people. Sorry guys, I couldn't. There was no way to make it work. I was trying, but then you guys would have got less stuff, and it was kind of a pain. But I'm excited for the future, and one of the cool new things is anybody who's a new patron, you're going to be getting a live thank you video, not a live video, but a thank you video from me using a new service that we're going to be using here in the future. Super excited about that, but get it done. Link to the article that I wrote is going to be in the description. If you haven't seen it, I've posted it on Facebook. If you're watching live, on Facebook, on Patreon, on YouTube as well. Just go get it done. It's super fast. Only takes a couple of clicks. Thank you to everybody who's done it. I will be quiet about that. Is there anything else I forgot about that list of things? I think I covered it all. All right. Frosted Plastic Poe Dameron, 3-card set, updated Quick Draw, Kylo, and Finch Dallo. Maul ink. I think I got it. And there's a little Q&A in there, a lot of the common questions. Will the same tier cost more? No, it won't. What happens if you don't update? All the things. And that's really important that you actually do update it, because if you don't update, the biggest problem that will happen is because you're not slotted in a tier, I don't have access to your address, which means I can't ship you anything. So you'll be it'll still withdraw money from your account once per month from the old amount, but there's no way for me to get you stuff. I want to get you stuff. So make sure you update. Please. Thank you. I see a couple people saying done. Okay, fantastic. Let's get to le content. So, weekly live streams, League Championship this Wednesday, tomorrow. Super excited about that. No polar vortex, even though we're in the middle of an ice storm right now. but we should be able to have League tomorrow. Super excited about that. League championships. It's on. Then don't forget about our Gold Squadron paint cast hosted by Luke Carrington. It's going through some awesome things. I believe this Thursday he's getting Skippy the Force Ghost on that Gold Squadron Trandoshan Slaver he's working on. So that's going to look super sweet. And upcoming events this February 17th. It's not this weekend, but the following. We're having our Pastimes Wave Championship. So if you're in the area, come on by. And, of course, we're going to be streaming that live. Let's get to some lists. You guys ready?
Oh yeah,
Let's do it.
They're itching. They're like, all right, this guy gotta shut up, man, because I want to talk about some lists. All right. So what we did, we reached out and we said, hey guys, give us your name, what faction, and extended or hyperspace. Marcel, Will, do we want to do hyperspace first, extended first? What do we want?
Let's do like the opens. They start off with the extended and then go to the
Fair.
hyper after.
Fair. All right, so we'll go ahead and start with extended. This very first list is brought to us by Damon McGuire. We'll go ahead and get that on your screen right now. Boom. Loading. It's going to be a scum list, and he says, gives us some note here. So he wants to bring a good amount of Initiative 6 with good durability to back it up, and let your opponent make bad decisions. Problems are low bid and very vulnerable to crits. Your opponent gets to try and outmaneuver you, and you almost never get the Greedo buff, or they let you reposition with Fenrau and big ships. I'd also wish to fit some rig cargo chutes in there, but the few upgrades that are in, I think, are the strongest options, and the biggest downsides is a lack of dice mods. All right, well, there we go. Initiative, oh, those are some sixes right there. You got Han Solo, Fenrau, and Dengar. Will and Marcel, do you guys have access to that? You guys are able to see it?
Well, yeah, I'm looking at it. I clicked on the link, so I'm looking at it there.
Okay.
I think before we start talking about these, let's set some ground rules.
Yep.
So what are we doing with this? Are we just are we doing like a pass fail? Are we doing I mean, are we being because I mean, yeah, like what are the ground rules? Do we tear them up? Are we taking them to a tournament, or what's the deal?
That's a great question. Let me go ahead and I'll pull up my post. But in my mind, what I'm looking for, let me just double check what I said in the post.
Like, how rude can we be?
No, we don't want to be rude, of course, right? But the biggest thing is that the context in which they give us, right? So I said, tell us what you're having problems with in this list, and we can see whether we think something needs to change. I would like to probably try to keep the chassis and pilots as close to what they have as possible, because there's a reason they wanted to bring those. And you know what? We can maybe give them a grade. Give them a grade. Like, what level do we think it is? The S tier, so, top of the meta, A, B, and so on.
How about we grade them in Jar Jar Binks, fun and wacky, maybe not too competitive. Jack Porkins, it's gonna blow up.
I can hold it.
or Anakin, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna outfly everyone. Wow.
Is Porkins the middle? I just feel like both.
No, Porkins is I mean, I know Porkins got some stuff on him, but in the movie, he's Piggy. That's his nickname. So Piggy blows up.
So Porkins is a bad list. I'm just trying to see what ground rules you're setting.
Jar Jar is like, it's good, competitive, fun, wacky, creative. Wouldn't take it wouldn't expect to do well at a major event, but fun on a casual night.
Okay, well let's do that, because I'm looking back at my post, and basically I just said we're gonna do reviews for both hyperspace and extended lists, and just give us your list and we'll break them down.
All right, so I'll actually take this first one.
Take the wheel.
Yeah, because I already flew this. I actually flew this. Been flying this a couple times. Um, lost against it lost with it pretty badly against my girlfriend Kayla. She was flying 4 T-70s, and I think I did half damage on one, so that wasn't very well. That was not because of a bad list. So for this one, I actually think it's a really good list. It does pretty well against most things. Everything has the potential of putting out some significant damage with Han Solo, being able to put out, 3 damage consistent or 3 dice consistently because of the trick shot, depending on how you position the rocks. The only difference that I had in my list versus the way that Damon has it on his is that instead of having Greedo, I put Fearless on Fen Rao because I think kind of Fen Rao is it's kind of stapled on him.
All right, so
that just happened.
That's part of the dice mods, right? Like he had Predator in there instead, but I guess maybe the guarantee of Fearless is probably a little bit better than Predator, especially
one roll. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and on top of that, you're if you're rolling at range 2, you don't want to be at range 2. You want to be at 3 or at 1, and at 1 you want that Fearless. And Greedo again, he's good, but if you just happen to be caught with your arc facing the wrong way or something like that, that critical on all of that hull, that Han, criticals are pretty bad for white tees.
So you would take off Greedo and put something else, or just leave it out?
No, just keep it the same points. Put Fearless instead of Greedo, and just leave it at 199. But everything else is fine. I mean, I think it's a fun. I had fun with it.
Yeah, you prefer the expert handling over the Lando's Falcon title?
Oh yeah. You can't fly Dengar. I've flown Dengar quite a bit since 2.0. He does not work without being able to barrel roll a white barrel roll. It just doesn't work.
I just feel like you wouldn't be modifying your actions though, or you're modifying your dice then if you're just barrel rolling. Yeah.
Well, even if you're not modifying, while you're at initiative 6, you want to guarantee, because you're basically a front arc ship. You're not really rotating your arc. If you're rotating your arc, at that point it's late game and you're just trying not to get shot. But there are times where you're going to have to maneuver around a debris, maneuver around a rock, or if you land somewhere, you
potentially arc dodge.
Yeah, arc dodge, because it's still a large base barrel roll. You still get quite a bit of it moves quite a distance still. And if you do that and you stress, it's so tough for them to lose stress with no turn. Basically, you're doing forward, or you're doing a soft left, no hards at that point. You set yourself up. You never want to stress them. The only time you ever stress them is if you're doing a K turn.
So Will, you're suggesting that possibly swapping that title for Lando's Falcon for expert handling might just be a different option there, a different way to go about it?
Yeah, I just from my experience, I wasn't barrel rolling my Dengar too often, but I have like minimal playtime with it. But I agree with everything Marcel says. Is like their greens are really bad right now, so you cannot be stressing yourself, which means you basically can't barrel roll at all without expert handling.
All right.
So I can see the value in that.
All right, Damon. Hopefully that helps out. I think we did address the dice mods a couple different ways there with the with Fearless.
Oh, and I call this a Jar Jar. Hilarious and fun and great.
You call that a Jar Jar?
Yeah, I flew it. It's a Jar Jar. You're going to have fun with it.
All right.
I'm so confused on the Jar Jar. Is Jar Jar bad or good?
I don't know.
It's Jar Jar is good at a casual night. It's good and fun and wacky, but not necessarily going to win you a system open.
Okay. So then Porkins is bad and Anakin is good?
Yeah, if you're going to put it on the table, and even at a casual night, you're going to put it on the table and be like, I'm not having any fun.
Oh, okay, I was just making sure. The rating system we got going on currently.
Alrighty, so our next list is brought to you by Nick Brown. And in his little synopsis, very simple, he says, throw debris everywhere and get lots of dice. So he took here Han Solo. We're in Scum, by the way. Han Solo, Scum YT-1300 in Outer Rim Escapecraft and Boba Fett Patrol. I'm bad at reading today. Fire Class Patrol, Boba Fett. Will, what'd you think, buddy?
This is interesting. I really like the 5 rigged cargo chutes coming out of Han Solo. The escape craft being able to coordinate that cargo chute drop every time, either before or after he moves, depending on where you actually want that cargo chute. And then you have a Boba Fett who rolls dice well, has a bunch of rerolls, is more or less your flanker. Now, obviously, everybody's got a trick shot because you're trying to drop as many cargoes as possible here. I think this is pretty interesting. The only thing I don't understand is the choice of the Outer Rim Pioneer. Because you can already shoot on rocks with all the debris.
Yep.
So, other than that, I think BT1 has a place here. Obviously, the trick shots. You could make a case for like a different upgrade instead of Marauder. Maybe say, I'm not sure what a good crew would be. Maybe 000.
I would say, if you bring it down to elite, you can't. And I know you're going to get rid of some crits because you're playing off of the stress and all the cargo chutes. But if you take off BT1 and you bring it down to L3, you can also get rigged cargo chutes on Boba, and now you've got you've got the ability to be able to drop those debris or coordinate those debris drops, both ships. So it's at that point it's like an opportunity, and Boba Fett benefits more from those debris anyway because of Marauder getting those free rerolls out of the back, so he can potentially do better without the action if he needs to just drop debris and not action that turn.
I love that tweak. Everybody gets a rigged cargo chute. I hope you got a lot of rigged cargo chute tokens.
Yeah, you're gonna need a total of it's 6. Yes, and it actually works out perfectly. Round 1, you do 4K with both. They both have a 4K. Round 1, you do 4. You find your lane, you do a 4K, and then you just start dropping them from there and let them chase you.
So I'm going to play a little bit of a devil's advocate. I think it's a cool trick.
Yeah.
It's a cool trick. One thing that I've seen people who bring all these rigged cargo chutes is they spend a lot of time. Trying to set up those rigged cargo chutes. But if somebody gets on your flank or you're not completely set up with all your cargo chutes out or you're overcommitted to getting those out, you can get in trouble in a list like this.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering if he was docking L3 at the beginning or just using them as coordinating the rigged cargo chutes. I guess it depends on the setup, though.
Yeah, and also I think the way you counter that is by your initial placement, right? And I think Will has taught us in the past that Tobias Beckett is really good, and your L3 is really there as a support ship. So I would even go as far as do that change, take out the BT1 gunner in exchange for rigged chute, make it L3, take trick shot out, and put Tobias Beckett in one of those ships to basically put the rocks exactly where you want them, make the lanes that you want, make the muddy it up, because basically this is you're playing the whole game based off rock placement and cargo chutes.
All right, so a couple different versions there. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I'm obviously a big fan of Tobias Beckett, especially if you have Han Solo trying to get those trick shots. You need the asteroids to be in very specific places, and Tobias helps you create those lanes and get that nice trick shot run down one of the sides of the boards.
Yeah, not only that, you also, being a large base, you also want to make sure that you don't land on them. So that's good. So I'm a big fan of either Tobias or also Kira, because Kira, again, if you know you have to go through them, Kira gives you that out to just target lock and go right through it.
All right. All right, so let's go ahead and take the next list. And people who are watching live, I'm sorry, I did missed opportunity on my part sharing the links in the chat. I'm going to start doing that as we bring them up, so that you guys can bring them up if you're sitting at home. So the next one is brought to us by Dr. Weston. He was one of our players during our Polar Vortex stream. So I'm going to get that sent out. So just give me a second. My computer is
While you're putting that up, for the last one, I actually think that is a competitive list. I think that could be. It's going to suffer against ordnance, things that can put down a lot of dice at one turn.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I think it can make enough.
All right.
It's got enough tools to be able to do well. I think.
I do want to. Oh, because it had Jabba in it. That's what made it extended.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind.
All right, so Dr. Weston, this is an Empire list, and he said, my setup for a bomber squad. Proximity for those closing in, scrums and lane denial, clusters for groups and range 1, concussion and APTs on Reimer for solid strikes at range 2. Wampa's a great blocker, and when grouped with 3 threatening targets, gets left alone to use his ability to attack. I've considered swapping Reimer for a Cutlass Punisher for the added health, but I don't like the low agility, and Reimer's ability is useful. So I'm gonna take a stab at this one for a little bit, and you guys can tell me when I'm wrong. So we know that bombers are really efficient. So even with the points increase that happened, they're still really good. Major Reimer, I think he's one of those ships that has a good chassis and a really cool ability that catches people off guard. One thing I worry about in this list specifically is he's got them loaded to the gills. He's got 62 points in this ship. And I know that's not, overall it's not huge, but I wonder if he could pull out some of these upgrades and maybe even get a whole nother ship out of it and be more efficient. So he brought proximity, like the proximity mines is probably one thing where I'm just not 100% sure on. Though you do have that the ship ability where you're able to bank out your bombs. Huh.
Yeah, I just dropped everything off of everything but proxy mines, or basically dropped everything but a bomb, and then switched out Major Reimer's concussion missiles for clusters. And when you start dropping off these points, you do get a whole other TIE fighter in there. Mm-hmm. Potentially, if you take off some of the bombs, you can actually get a 4th bomber in there as well.
Like I like having the advanced proton torpedo on Reimer because that gives you that range 2 5 dice, which is ridiculous, hilarious. If you're not familiar with Major Reimer, he says when you perform a torpedo or a missile attack, you may increase or decrease the range by 1. So advanced proton torpedo is a range 1 weapon that becomes a range 2 or a range 0 weapon. It's kind of crazy. Skilled bombardier, I think you can pull that off. How many points is the cheapest TIE fighter? 23 points, isn't it?
24? 23, yeah.
23, there you go. So if we leave Major Reimer with Predator, advanced proton torpedoes, and cluster missiles.
You don't want Predator on there.
I'm not there yet.
Okay.
Giving right now we can get a whole nother TIE fighter on there. And then that's the next question. that those 2 points, is there something else that we can put on there to make it even better?
Well, not only is there something else, Predator is a primary weapon, and the whole point of Major Rhymer is that he's never shooting primary.
There you go.
If he's shooting a primary, then, you know, so
So we rip off Predator. So we have 2 points. If we, assuming that we have that other TIE fighter in there, so we're at a 5-ship build right now. We're at 198.
Yeah, and also, I know it's going a little bit too far, like away from what he's trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sorry, I'm gonna call this a Porkins, and the reason is because, again, it's just without making some serious tweaks to it, it's really gonna struggle with all these target lock required ordnance. Initiative 2 just is not going to be able to go in there, target lock, and do a well modded shot. And with no shields, they're not really getting that target lock that first turn to turn around and do that, the shot the second time. So I think you either drop the points to get, and go with barrage rockets, or you find a way to get higher initiative pilots on there, Tomax or Jonas or something,
So
and drop a couple bombs, because if you're gonna rely on the ordnance, you need to have a higher initiative to be able to move later and know who you're locking and shooting.
So all right,
that's exactly what I was going to say. Is if you don't want the 5th ship, you need to get higher initiative in there. Jonas and Tomax for sure.
All right. So actually, Dr. Weston is in the chat right now. This is his list, and he says it runs about 50-50. So if we're keeping the same ship chassis, I think maybe what we're suggesting, right, is here's one cool thing though about the skilled bombardier gunner. I know that we ripped it out of Major Rhymer already. Is with those bank, because it can use the 1 straight or the 1 banks on a bomber, you can 2 bank a bomb behind you. That's kind of crazy. And I'm curious. That's something that I would be really curious to see on a table, right? I'm not reading that wrong, am I? If you would drop or launch a device, you may use a template of the same bearing with the speed 1 higher or lower, right? That works, right?
Yeah, it definitely works. You can 2-bank drop bombs with skilled bombardier.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's good for a proximity mine, actually. Yeah. Proximity mines work well, but again, I'm gonna
go look at my templates. Hold on.
Yeah, at that point, I would be putting barrage rockets on them to just. I don't like low initiative ships that have to target lock to put damage out without having something like Jendon or something that lets you get the target lock early.
Hooks them up.
Yeah.
Oh, right. That's really far.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm looking at my table. I know you guys can't see it. I don't have a camera set up for this. Maybe I need to start setting up a camera on a table for the podcast.
Being able to put a bomb anywhere behind you, basically anywhere at covering your full back arc for range 2.
Let me know, guys, people who are in the chat right now. Is that something you guys would like to see, me having a table and a camera I can switch to where I can do stuff on a table for the podcast? Let me know. It's kind of hard because we want this to be audio friendly too. So I don't know how well it'll work. But anyway, so maybe the decision is, are we bomb focused or more bomb focused or more ordnance focused, right? I mean, there's a couple different ways you can go. Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think there's a couple different ways. We can maybe go with those barrage rockets instead of the concussion and cluster. So let's get rid of those concussion, cluster, and go barrage.
Yeah, because at that point you're dropping 4 points on each.
There you go. Now we still have 10 left over. If we get rid of the cluster missiles here, we got barrage rockets on Rhymer as well, plus the advanced proton torpedoes, leaving us at 8 points, which we can now put a bomb back on on Reimer, whether that be proximity mines or one of the other ones. I think that there's something here to do. I like being able to get that 5th ship, that TIE fighter. That sounds cool. And Dr. Weston says he likes to start with some K turns on the board and make him chase. Like, come get me. Awesome. I think it's really cool. I really like some of the options he's got there. All right, let's go ahead and we'll get the next list up. I'm gonna go ahead and copy this link into the chat. So this one is brought to you. This list is created by Daniel Lim, aka ISOFan. You can see this sign over my shoulder. If you weren't there, you don't know why, but it's a good story. Go look at the last the Polar Vortex. I think it was the last game, Will's game, where in between, ISOFan broke me. We'll talk about it later. All right, so we got some words here. Daniel Lim, he says, Rebel. He says, this is a variation on my list I had taken previously to the Minoc Open Tournament because I lost my mouse. Because of the change of pricing to Supernatural, I had to drop it off Luke. I'm not sure how good Luke will be without it, and he may need to be changed out. If Luke is switched to something slightly cheaper, then I have room to change Blount to either Composure Sabine or Intimidation Predator Arvel. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So, and I think we have to answer his first question here, guys, is what do we think about Luke without supernatural reflexes?
How he has him here naked at just 62 points. I think he's a fine 62-point ship. He's double modifying his offense a lot and always has a defensive modifier. A little restricted with the just having barrel roll most of the time and being initiative 5, but I think for 62 points, without upgrades, he's still a solid ship.
Wait,
something happened weird. Hold on.
Yeah, is he at 181?
I think something may have downloaded weird.
Yeah, because
he is at 181.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a full list.
And it also shows Leia as a missile. What is happening? Hold on, something's gone terribly wrong.
Oh no! What, you can just put Leia in the tube now?
Do you guys see that though? Right? That says Leia. We're gonna enhance right there.
It's okay. That's a self-recharging missile. You shoot her, and then she'll use
she
the
comes
force
right back
to
in.
suck herself back in.
Yeah, that's okay. She was gonna fly around in space for a little bit. Seek out.
Leia Poppins, baby. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay. Oh man, what happened? I don't understand what happened to that list. That's so weird.
Tell him to send the squad to make sure. Because I was wondering why the Warden was in there. If that's the ship it's supposed to be, I feel like that's a different ship than the Warden.
Let me try. Let me try again. Rathios, help us, save us. Why is there a Leia missile? Oh man, that's hilarious. Daniel, if you're in the chat, if you could drop us the actual link, we'll come back to it. I don't know what happened in the copy paste. The memes, guys, make some memes. I want them. Anyway, Daniel, we'll come back once you shoot me the corrected link for whatever reason. When you click on the list, it doesn't show Leia on the list. He says, hi, change the Warden to ARC 170 Nora Wexley.
Yeah, that makes a little bit more sense, doesn't it?
Okay.
Now we're talking. Now that's a real list.
And that has... All right, we did it. We did it. Okay.
I thought the Warden was very strange in the list, to be honest with you. So,
all right, so I'll go ahead and read this down. Love technology. All right, so this is Nora Wexley in the ARC 170 with just Leia Organa as a crew, not as a missile. Luke Skywalker with just the servo motor S foils. Braylon Strom in the B-Wing with selflessness. And Blount in the Z95 with no upgrades. We're sitting at 199. Will, take the wheel.
I like this a lot. I actually been flying a lot of Braylon. I really do like Braylon. He utilizes that focused linked red bear roll super well, because that basically gives him double mods for most of the round, or the whole round, as long as he's stressed. In this build, though, he's kind of taking on the role as a semi-Biggs he's doing the opposite of a Biggs, he is not drawing fire, but as Nora and Luke are drawing fire, he can still kind of do the Biggs pull a crit off of them. And I think that if you're a Rebel player, you should be looking for Leia Organa, no matter what ships you have, except for maybe like 5 K-wings, because they don't have red maneuvers, so Leia won't help them. But almost every other ship has a red maneuver that would like Leia every 3 rounds. So I think actually I like this list quite a bit. I think Braylon, Luke, Nora, and Blunt are like top tier of their chassis here. I think the only thing I might change is just changing Braylon straight up to Biggs. Because Biggs can do the job that Braylon's doing a little bit better, because he can pull hits instead of just crits, and you actually save 2 points as well.
So you're down to 197.
Mm-hmm. So you can put like your talent. You can fill in a talent slot on Nora. Maybe get that crack shot on Blunt and Nora. I guess Blunt doesn't need to be in range 1, does he? He just needs a defender at range 1.
Yep, he says, while you perform a primary attack, if there is at least one other friendly ship at range 0 to 1 of the defender, you may roll 1 additional attack die.
Yeah, so I might oh no, Chopper is non-recurring. I was gonna say Chopper crew, but that doesn't work with Leia, because Leia is recurring. So it'd be up to I would just put crack shots and get a 1-point bid. Or leave it as just a 3-point bid. So your Nora and your Luke are a little bit better. And honestly, like I said, I like the Braylon version. Put a jamming beam on it. That's the only real critique I'd have.
Jamming beam. It's free.
Jamming beams. No, honestly, I could talk about jamming beam for a long time, but I will say I'm just going to repeat the scenarios in which you should shoot a jamming beam. A reinforced ship. You have multiple shots on a focused evade ship. Shoot it at the focused evade ship. Then cloaked phantom. If you're the only shot on a phantom with an evade, why don't you shoot it with the jamming beam, so that way you can strip the evade off. So but yeah, that's the only thing I would change. You do have to drop down to initiative 3 with Biggs, so maybe that's why Braylon was in there, because he is initiative 4.
True, and Braylon has kind of some self dice modification, so maybe that was the idea as well, to be able to have a little bit better offensive and defensive dice.
Mm-hmm. No, I fully agree. Like I said, I like Braylon, especially a selfless Braylon, because people really don't want to shoot at him, because he gets to reroll his 1 agility. He basically has 2 agility. He just can only max out at 1 defense, which I think is really good. So I don't think it's that bad. The only I think you could drop down to Wedge as well, and that gives you a lot of points to play around with. If he was mentioning bumping Blount up to something better. If you didn't run Wedge, what's your opinion on what Wedge versus Luke, guys?
I like Wedge.
I know you like Wedge.
I
guess
I like Wedge just because he dies faster. But if you have a list that is spreading damage around, like Biggs or Selfless or something like that, I think he does more in that type of list. But if you don't have that support structure where you're drawing with bigs or some other type of ships, then I think, I think that those 10 extra points for Luke might make sense. But yeah, with 10 points you can do a whole lot more, and you got the other ships that are basically covering Wedge a little bit.
So you would put Wedge, and you would have space for a proton torpedo on Wedge,
or droids or something. Yeah.
I mean, why would you not take
that? I would bump up that blunt to Sabine.
Oh, yeah, blunt. Oh, yeah. Blunt
instead of the proton.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you got 10 extra points, you can do other stuff with, or even taking. If you want to take a Z95, I like Aaron Kraken just being able to give somebody a target lock, so they can get a double modded shot. Or if there's a bump, get.
But hold on. Actually, if we with Selfless in there and Wedge, we cannot fit Sabine. We are at 201. Sorry, I forgot Selfless on there.
You have to drop the Selfless then.
Yeah, but to take the attack shuttle and change that to Aaron Kraken. Take Sabine out and just because he had a Z95, so just keep it with the Z95. Just bump it up to Aaron. No. Leave the Selfless. Just take. Yeah, you go.
Which is interesting, actually.
Yeah, because now you can get a double mod shot with whatever ship is going to need it most.
Probably Nora.
Yep.
We got 5 points.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of variations you can do. Because the list doesn't have too many upgrades. The only variations we can really look is changing out the named pilots then.
All right. So hopefully that helps you out. Daniel, that's probably one of my favorite list building moments there. The Leia and the tubes. That's good. See if we get any other weird ones like that. All right, so the next one is by Scott Borlick. And I'll go ahead and get that in the chat. Here, loading. Come on. You were just fine on my other screen. My computer's freaking out. I got all these screens going. Go ahead and just post that in here. What is going on? You gotta love when things just don't work. It's just blank. Why is it just blank? Will, what'd you do? You broke it.
I didn't break anything. What do you mean? What did I do?
You broke it. Why'd you break it? Let's try again. Come on.
Did you click on it first?
I did. I swear.
Then you opened a new tab.
It's something on my side. Hold on.
I have whisper soon to your turn for ner.
Turn for ner. All right, I think I got it. All right, cool. Bam. There it is. Just needed a second. I was too hasty. All right. What are your thoughts, Marcel? Sorry, I should read it down first. So we got Lieutenant Sai with advanced sensors, Krennic jamming beam. It's free. Agent Callus and SC321. That's the title for the Lambda. And the TIE Phantom Echo with Juke collision detector, fifth brother, the staple, the new staple of the TIE Phantom, and the TIE Interceptor Sunterfell. 5 points with Juke. And you're at 199. Go ahead.
What does Agent Callus do again?
Oh, wait a second. Sorry, I said the wrong name. This is John Ben Young's list. I clicked on the wrong one. John Ben Young.
Okay. Switches gears.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, what does Callus do again?
So Callus is the one that you assigned a condition to another ship, and you give them the hunted condition. It says, while you perform an attack against a ship with the hunted condition, you may change one of your eyeball results to a hit.
Got it.
Sorry. I guess we were having some issues with the links today. Callus is supposed to be Tarkin. He just typed in there. It's nice when people are here. All right, there you go. Tarkin.
Tarkin.
That makes a lot more sense.
2 charges if you do each run, should make guard lock on the ship you have left.
I swear, guys, I'm just clicking on these, and what I don't know what's happening. So Tarkin has two charges. During the system phase, you may spend 2 charges. They are recurring. If you do, each friendly ship may acquire a lock on a ship that you have locked. That's why it's on the Lambda. Go ahead.
Got it. Okay, so with that being around, that kind of makes a lot more sense, putting Juke on Soontir instead of something like Predator. And then you just evade, boost into range 1, or boost into or reposition into whatever you need to get that free focus. I like it. It looks fun. I think the advanced sensors is probably a bit much. A lot of points for a ship whose claim to fame is well, I guess you want to get that action.
Yeah, right. It's trying because of the
how
much bumping it does.
Focus, yeah. So you're trying to get all 3 of them to focus, and then from there, they're going to be using their repositioning and in Soontir's case, his evade, get them double focus, and using Juke. I like it. And target lock. That's a lot of actions. That's handing out a lot of actions. I think it'll catch a lot of people off guard. I like it a lot.
So here's just a quick thought. I know Fifth Brother is good, right? You have that dice modifier. Is there an argument in this list for taking Echo out and going to Whisper? You take out Fifth Brother. You have 6 points left over to do something with if you want. But I guess I want to have this conversation. Is it worth it? Does it come down to whether or not, like, how well you play Echo? Because if people are not familiar with Echo allows you to decloak with a 2-bank. You must, not just allow, you must decloak with the 2-bank. So those angles are a little bit funky.
I think it comes down to Echo's maneuverability, especially if Sai is coordinating focuses to Echo, and Echo's getting free evades, and he has Fifth Brother.
And repositioning.
Well, that's what I'm saying. His only other action is going to be barrel roll then. Yeah. So he's going to be all over the place. I assume close to Sai, though, range 2 of Sai. But then... So I think it's just the danciness of them. Collision Detector Echo can just simply be anywhere, whereas kind of Whisper is stuck doing those candy canes or forks.
Yeah, I think the only where it might struggle is that Echo and Soontir are so fast, and also they kind of want to not fly nearby. They want to be.
They want space, right?
Yeah, they want to be
space to work.
Yeah, and with this working basically off of coordinate, it kind of telegraphs them a little bit. But outside of that, I mean, all 3 of them are going to have focus. 2 of them are going to have evade, and 2 of them might have a double focus. Not a double focus, but Fifth Brother and the free focus for Soontir. So that's a lot of mods. So even if they're in harm's way, they might be able to survive some volleys.
And I think in this list, Sai has to be getting shots, right? Like with only Echo and Soontir doing the majority of the lifting, you're gonna have to make sure you get Sai in the fight. I do like its role though. I think the advanced sensors is big. That jamming beam.
If you drop off Krennic and Tarkin,
okay,
that leaves you 12 points. Would you? Here's my question to you guys: If you did that, had 12 points left over, what would you put on Soontir or Echo instead?
I think at that point you're not. I wouldn't do that.
I think it's a different list.
Yeah,
why
it's
not?
completely different because this plays off of Sai basically being able to get those target locks.
But she's not Jendon though, so she's going to have to. I just think it's just weird that the only way she's locking is through ST321, because Sai moves at 3, she's going to move up, but then Echo and Soontir aren't going to have anybody to target lock initially, or excuse me, they're not going to have anybody at range 3 of them initially. So then Sai won't get the ST-321 target lock. I think it would make more sense if you were doing the Krennic and Tarkin target lock shenanigans if you actually went with Jendon instead. Because Jendon can get that lock from really far away. And then, so like the first round, you would Jendon would target lock through his ability. And then at the start of next round, you could Tarkin and give that same lock to Echo and Soontir, basically giving them long-range scanners as well. I just think the timing's a little weird. I mean, in combat, it's going to work flawlessly, but like coming into combat, it's going to be a little weird.
So the early game, you got to make sure you execute there.
Yeah, maybe you even just bring Echo and Soontir in front, so it keeps Sai in the back for the first round. So she basically avoids the first round or two of combat. But that goes against what you said, is like you're really going to need her attack dice each round as well.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Yeah,
I think the way he built it makes sense for what he's trying to do. I actually wouldn't tweak it based on what he wants to do.
The Yasby 2.0 is acting really strange for me, guys. I don't know what's happening. I took Tarkin off, and I can't put it back on. But anyway, John, I think you definitely have some options here. I think it just depends on. So one of the potential problems I see with not the list on screen, but let's go back to when he had Tarkin and Agent Callus on there, is you're gonna have those target locks, right away at the beginning of the game. Do you think this list might have like a mid-game problem? Like once you do that initial engage, let's say you don't kill something, right? Because I think that's kind of the idea. You have locks on something, you try to flank it, you try to take something off the table right away and have that points advantage early. Is it going to have some problems reacquiring those locks, being able to spread them out? I just wonder if there's going to be some issues there. You think it's fine?
Yeah, I mean, for what he's trying to do, I think it's fine.
All right.
I mean, again, we're talking about, is it going to be fine at a store championship type of event and things like that? Yeah. When you go out and you're going to put this against maybe some of the top lists, is Echo going to get, being at initiative 4 and with, regardless if he's got 7 focuses and an evade, he's still rolling two defense dice. So many ships out there are going to put hurting on Echo based on just initiative alone. We've got the Boba Fett's, the Wedges, things like that. Regardless of where he's at, they're going to follow it, especially anything with a turret or with a rotating arc and trick shot. We'll put some hurting on Echo no matter what.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get to our next list. This one, I promise you, is Scott Borlick's lists. It is also an Empire list, and we're getting another Phantom plus Soontir and Turfenur. He said here, the idea is to arc dodge and selectively engage. Probably goes to time a lot. I am also wondering if 3 generic interceptors instead of the 2 named interceptors would be better. So Turfenur, that's not a pilot we see too often on the table. Ability here is after you perform an attack, you may perform a barrel roll or boost action, even if you are stressed. So, kind of initially, one of my problems with Turfenur is the initiative 4, and like if he was a 6, I think Turfenur would get a lot more play, right? Because you would be able to shoot and then try to arc dodge after you have a shot, especially if you need to put yourself in a position where you can get shot to get a shot, and then maybe you can get away. I just don't know if Turfenur spending the points there works. I actually don't hate the idea of going for those other interceptors just to have more ships.
Yeah, so actually, if you just take off, let's do a little bit of the best of both worlds here,
Yeah.
because all his ships are pretty pricey. Take off advanced sensors and hull from Whisper.
Okay.
Make Soontir the quintessential Soontir, which is usually just Predator and nothing else on it. Take Predator off of Turfiner.
Okay.
And now you can fit that fourth generic TIE fighter, TIE Interceptor in.
There you go.
So you've got the quintessential Whisper, the quintessential Soontir. You still got Turfiner, and now you've also got that fourth Interceptor that you were asking about, to be able to go in there and get some early blocks and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. I like that quite a bit. Good eye. I mean, that's similar to what we did in an earlier list, right? We saw a lot of upgrades in there. Say, hey, could you get another ship?
Yeah, I mean, at some point, that one hull and two hull, three. That extra ship, you get 3 extra dice and 3 extra hull. So and a potential blocker, and the ability to be able to get target priority and stuff like that. Even at initiative 1, you're like, it's just a generic interceptor. Yeah, it's still rolling 4 dice at range 1.
Yeah.
So you still got to take care of it.
I like that a lot better than what he had. I know that you don't get the shenanigans with the advanced sensors, but I like that a lot better, being able to get that blocker in there. And I think when you have a ship that can block well, because the interceptor, those things can move with that auto thrusters ability and the dial that it has, it can get in a lot of places. And with these more fragile ships, when you're flying Turfiner and Soontir, and they need to be engaged because they're the meat of the list. They're the ones that have the guns. Having a blocker to be able to make sure an arc stays turned away from where you're going to be can be absolutely huge in a game. So I guess the question here is this a Jar Jar, or is it what was your what was your rating system again?
Well, it's definitely not a Porkins.
It's not a Pork. Okay.
Yeah, it's not a Porkins. Soontir and Whisper.
Automatic, not Porkins, right?
Yeah. Turfiner,
I think it comes down to how you use the boost and barrel, right?
Yeah. I think if flown well, it can actually do well at a competitive level. Flown very well. I think the one that you're gonna have to probably be most defensive or creative with is Whisper, because you want to keep that. You want to keep Whisper from getting shot. But I mean, I think it's good.
Alrighty, and our last extended list here, we got a Rebel list brought to you by Wade Crossman. I'm gonna load it up here. Wade Crossman is an awesome man, not only because he has a pretty cool family and stuff. He also let me stay in his house when I was in Arizona, so that was pretty sweet. So, Will, go ahead, take the wheel on this one.
Okay, looks like he says, Hair's always been my favorite of mine to run, though I miss Harrigator. This build relies on arc-dodgy large bases, which sounds counterintuitive until you consider Cassian Andor and Hera's pilot abilities. Lando's pilot ability also allows for some action economy, and Leia can provide some surprising move with Hera. His write-up about it, he has just Hera Sedula in the VCX 100 and Lando Calrissian in the YT 1300. So you got Hera with Trick Shot, Ninnub, Collision Detector, Dorsal Turret, and Leia Organa. And he's got Trick Shot, C-3PO, Cassian Andor, Engine Upgrade, and Millennium Falcon title on Lando Calrissian. So there's a lot to break down here. a lot of upgrades filling out these 2 large bases. The first thing I'm interested in is this whole basically new Hera Gator.
Mm-hmm.
So let's break this down. Hera says after you reveal a red or blue maneuver, you may set your dial to another maneuver of the same difficulty. So looking for red or blue maneuvers. That's why in this list, she is running Ninub instead of Lando. So it gives her all her banks are blue and her 1 and 2 are blue. So anytime she chooses a bank maneuver, she can choose any bank maneuver and the 1 and 2 forward.
Yeah, how about I just go the opposite direction?
Yeah. And because they she has got a dorsal turret. She doesn't have any attack shuttle or sheath the feet docked, so she doesn't have that rear arc. But she still has the dorsal turret. Leia, though, so Ninub interacts with Hera's ability. Leia does not. And it lets her do those big 4Ks and the hard 1 and hard 3s, and keeping them white. Now, when she's not using Leia, she can choose any of those to use. So that's pretty interesting. Keeps the dial light and fresh. And then collision detector. So basically, you don't have to worry about too much.
Wait, so
asteroid.
Can we go back here real quick? So
Sure, go ahead.
So you can't use Leia with Hera?
No. Says at the start of the activation phase, during this phase, each friendly ship reduces the difficulty of its red maneuvers.
Yeah, so the reds become white.
So
Yeah, because Hera's is after you reveal a maneuver, and Leia triggers first in the activation phase. So this Leia basically changes dials, even though they're all face down. Or not changes dials. That's a bad way to put it. Changes the color.
Right, but okay. So start of activation, my dial's down. I activate Leia. All my whites are now. All my reds are now white.
Yeah,
correct.
So I dialed in a white maneuver on Hera. Can't I switch to one of those reds that are not white?
No.
Because Hera's ability only works on red and blue maneuvers. You reveal a white maneuver.
Got it. Sorry. I was thinking about it wrong. Cancel.
No, okay, that's
my bad.
That makes sense. That's a good way to phrase it. It doesn't work because
doesn't work on white maneuver.
Reveal a white maneuver, not a red or blue.
Got it.
But Leia's 2 points and red moves are not good. So white moves are better. I think everybody can agree.
Yeah, and I like this list a lot. I'm changing it a lot, but you're gonna see some reasoning here because I actually like this a lot. I was playing with it myself as well. All right, so let's get rid of Cassian Andor.
Okay.
Now let's take Nien Nunb from Hera and swap that out to Seasoned Navigator.
Got it.
All right. And you're going to put Nien Nunb where Nien Nunb belongs, which is on Lando, so you can get action economy from all of those.
So Seasoned Navigator, for those of you who don't know, is after you reveal your dial, you may set your dial to another non-red maneuver of the same speed while you execute that maneuver.
All right, so now let me put on Hera's dial, or move over so people can see Hera's dial.
Yep.
So basically what this does, this allows you to put a 1 hard on your dial, a 1 hard 21, which is a red. Seasoned Navigator will allow you to change that 1 hard to 1 bank or a blue 1. That blue 1, then you can use Hera's native ability to change that blue 1 into the 2 banks as well. So by setting the dial at any red maneuver, it essentially lets you use any of the red maneuvers or any of the blue maneuvers at any time in the match. But you have to set your dial as a red to begin with. That way you can move it over as a red turn. That way you can move it over to the blue, and then one of the other ones. And then Nien Nunb, again with Lando, if you're going to do a red maneuver, you can use that action economy, that free action, to give Hera the focus or something if you are gonna end up doing like something like that.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
I guess my question with that is that Hera's ability only works on the maneuver you revealed.
Does it?
But you wouldn't actually reveal a one forward. You'd reveal a hard one.
It doesn't say. It says after you reveal a red or blue maneuver. After you reveal your dial. So it used to work in 1.0. If it doesn't work, I think that's the thing because both of them basically are saying the same thing. That after you reveal a maneuver, you can switch it. So which one are you using first? I don't think there's anything in the rules that say that Hera triggers before Season Navigator, because they're both happening exactly after your reveal.
Huh.
Okay.
I see your argument, Will. The question
I'm just not
is,
sure if it works in second edition anymore.
huh? Good list here, Wade. You got us a conundrum here. I think it's an interesting interaction because you could try to argue it both ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
After you reveal a red or blue, I guess the question is, does that clause supersede the changing that Season Navigator gets to do? I mean, I kind of, my gut feeling just looking at the wording, I kind of feel that it's like, all right, you reveal, is it red or blue is the first question? Because that's what you see.
Mm-hmm.
Because Season Navigator requires you to reveal your dial. Like, I have something. And Hera refers to what that something is before it would be altered. That's the way I would, like, if I was in a tournament and I had to make the call, I think that's how I would rule it.
I think that's a good one that we're bringing up because it's something that has to be answered. Because I would fly it and rule it differently.
Yeah.
But anyway, just assuming that this is the way it works or it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, then don't make those changes. But also, it makes Leia function in this as well, because what was I saying? Well, if you use at that point, actually, you still want to get rid of Leia because at that,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you don't really need Leia anymore. At that point, you can, you get rid of Leia. You've got 4 points to play with. You get rid of one of those trick shots. You could probably put Veteran Gunner on Hera or something, or just figure something else out to do.
All right,
or just get a bid because they want to move last anyway. If you're playing against other fives, you probably want to bid.
All
so you got a 196.
So we got some options there. I think depending on the ruling,
if it works.
Yeah, depends if it works or not. Right.
Right.
So yeah, cool list, Wade. Thank you so much for submitting that. All right, we're gonna move now into Hyperspace. Now, so for those of you who might not know, the Hyperspace format is a format in which you have only a set amount of ships and upgrades that you're allowed to use. Essentially, it's what has been released only in second edition version in expansion packs, not including the conversion kits. Kind of is how that works. So if you're not familiar, I would suggest looking at a couple of squad builders, and you can see if you toggle to the from the extended to the Hyperspace format, you're going to have less ship and upgrades you're going to be able to do. This is going to be part of the no longer called Hyperspace Trials, the Prime Championships, I think is what they're actually called now. Is that right? Something like that?
Yeah,
the Optimus one?
Prime and
something like that. That's starting when? When's that starting?
In a couple weeks.
So
the first
these
So wait, Hyperspace Trials were never Hyperspace Trials now?
Well, they're this is for maybe next week. They've changed the naming convention has changed again to try to simplify it across all the games, and I think it's a good idea, to be completely honest. I think it's good. Even though we did spend a whole episode explaining why it's called Hyperspace Trials and try to teach people, we're going to teach them back the other way. It'll be fine. We'll move on. Hyperspace. Let's go. Okay, so our first list is given to us by our friend Steve Wagstaff. It is a scum list, and we'll go wait for this to load up. Give me a second before we We move to the browser. All right, here we go. All right, so he says here it's a double I6 build with coordinate, escape, craft, bomb. The coordinate action is still one of the best actions. It even post points. Change L3 is even the points after the points change. L3 is so cheap to play with a white coordinate. Be able to outmaneuver your opponent. The autopilot drone bomb has worked really well against swarms, and I've seen a few recently. Engine upgrade on Han is really nice, but I'm not sure if I should swap it for something else. The other option is to remove the drone and engine upgrade to take one of the TIE fighters, but then lose out on the bid. Certainly getting a decent track record with it at the minute. Over 30 wins in 45 games, but more eyes on it are welcome. So let's go ahead and break this down. You got Scum Han with Trick Shot, Tobias Beckett, one of our fan favorites. Engine upgrade, rig cargo chute, and Lando's Millennium Falcon title. Fen Rao with Just Fearless, L337 with Trick Shot and Tactical Officer, and the Escape Craft drone, which will be docked to Han at the start of the game, or maybe won't be, and then you end up bombing it out, which we're big fans of doing. You know, I would say at initial glance, he's sitting at 188 points, so he's going pretty strong for the bid on both those sixes with a 12-point bid. There's nothing on here that stands out to me like, hey, that's a bad idea. He made a lot of logical choices. I mean, this looks really good. Well, go ahead.
Maybe the only change I would take is, to drop the Trick Shot and get Kira Crew on Han. I really like Kira Crew, and it just helps Han trigger his ability so easily. As he's single modding most of his attacks anyways, you could just settle for the focus and then just use your target lock to move obstacles.
So take the Trick Shot off of L3.
Yeah, I mean, the big problem with L3 is that she can only ever modify her dice with a single focus. So I see the value in the Trick Shot, but her maneuverability is pretty terrible, and I don't know. I just think it's nice, but not necessary.
It's just a different way to go about it, right? Because giving the Trick Shot on L3, you get what I'm going to call like a pseudo mod on her attack. Assuming that you coordinated that turn by having an extra dice, you just have I have an extra chance. Maybe it's unmodded dice, so more of them are better. Yeah, it's definitely a different way to go about it. Kira, you're trying to give Han a more quality shot more often, and I think it comes down to play style. Can you leverage that? What can you leverage more? I really like where this sits, though. I really think he built a good list.
I do as well. I'm going to give you a couple tweaks, see what you guys like. And it's not that big of a tweak. It only changes the initiative by 1 point. So take engine upgrade and change that to shield upgrade.
Okay. Are we taking Kira off, or are we going back to the original?
No. Just leave it exactly the way he has it.
Okay.
So just put that as a shield. Give him a little extra life, and put an ion torpedo on Fen Rao, because keep Kira on there, and then an ion torpedo on.
So why the ion torpedo?
So at range 3, before you get in at any point, or you can take that ion torpedo off and put it on there. But I like the ion torpedo because at range 3 you can get the 4-on-1 without the cost of the proton torpedo. Basically, you're just trying to land something, and if you're trying to land something against, let's say, an interceptor, or not an interceptor, a phantom or something like that, where you would be rolling 3-on-3. At this point, you're rolling 4-on-2 with basically full mods with a target lock and a coordinated focus from L3. And also with Han Solo wanting to hide behind the rock and taking high damage shots against people putting debris, I think it just makes Han Solo much more effective. Also, Fen Rao much more effective, knowing where a target's going to be. So you give up, at range 2 and 3, being able to get those 4 dice out and ioning someone is, I think, really good, especially when you think you're going to see a lot of, maybe getting some Kylo Ren in there that's going to be hard to tie down, or one of those ships that are flying in formation that need to fly in formation. If you make one of them go one forward, you're kind of messing with the entire formation, because now the entire formation has to adjust to that.
I like the thinking behind the ion torpedo for sure.
Yeah, because
Fen
basically
doesn't
what
really...
you're giving up in return is engine upgrade. Which engine upgrade is good. You can still get engine upgraded, but at that point you'll be at 194, and you're not really doing a bid anymore. At least not a serious one.
You jokester bid. Huh. I think the ion torpedoes is going to come down to a little bit of play style, though. I think that's I think one risk you also serve with that is if you're facing off with people at range 3 with ion torpedoes. I've been messing around with Fangs a little bit. They don't want to be at range 3 either. They only want to be at range 1. Like if for survivability purposes. Like if you're taking multiple shots at range 3 with Fen Rao, he's going to take damage, and you don't want that.
Yeah.
So is it worth the risk bringing this ion torpedo? I think you have a risk of, if you lean too hard into the ion torpedo, you could end up giving yourself more problems than the positive side you gain.
Well, it's not really leaning on it. It's you want to be at range 1, but if you end up at range 3, or if you end up at an angle where they're facing the wrong way, and the next turn all they can do is focus, they can't reposition, and you can come in and get them from the back or from the side at range 1, because you know where they're going to be. Mm-hmm. So I think that's really where it comes down. That's where it'll pay dividends. Is it'll make. I use the ion torpedo a lot in 1.0 when you had the Nim Miranda, and basically the ion torpedo was the way to really be able to kill one of those 2 ships in 2 rounds of fire. So that's probably where I'm coming at it. Is it's more of, it's there. It's not that many points. It's 6 points, which is 1 point. In old school, it's a 3-point torpedo, and it's there as a safety net if you're not able to make range 1, instead of trying to boost out of the way or arc that, just get a target lock focus and make sure you know where they're going to be next turn.
But I'm playing devil's advocate just because that's what we're here to do, right? Mm-hmm. So then I think another part of the other side of this that you have to look at is having that tool. Is it worth having ion torpedo or having the 6 points for the bid? Would you rather just move after your opponents at I6? More of them, at least. Or let's see, if I just ripped off ion torpedo, is 185 points too deep of a bid, or do you take that security blanket instead of an extra tool? I think that's just another way to look at it. Mm-hmm. I do like the ion torpedo. That's cool. That's a cool piece of tech.
Not a lot of people use it.
Yep. So maybe we meet you guys somewhere in the middle. We say no Kira and swap out the ion torpedo. You end up at 189. Maybe that's another way to look at it. But some interesting choices there. I like the base chassis, like what he sent us. I think was definitely a good list. Yeah, it was definitely good. These are just different ways to look at it. And maybe Steve, he says he got 30 out of 45 wins. Maybe some of these tweaks could get you over that bump, and over the bump. You're already over 50% winning with the list, but maybe get you a little bit more aggressive of a win percentage with that. So thanks for the list, Steve. Next one is submitted by Brendan McKenna. It is an Imperial Hyperspace list that is loading, which is why I am elongating my words. This is what I do when I'm stalling, and here we go. Will, you want to take this one?
Yeah, I got a lot of things to say about Darth Vader, I think. So let's see. Let's take a look here. What does his notes have to say?
So he said, yeah, go ahead.
It says it's been running Vader since the points increase, but now it can't run Supernatural because it's too expensive. Let's see. It mentions that the Reaper is there to boost Duchess, but he says he struggles without fifth brother. Oh, Duchess struggles without fifth brother. So let's see. Let's take a look here. We got Darth Vader with hate, advanced sensors, and afterburners. We also have Duchess with juke and shield, and Major Vermeil, that's the Reaper, with composure, tactical officer, and ISB slicer. Let's say here that the ISB slicer is the crew that allows ships at range 1 to 2 to not be able to remove jams. So you're jammed until next round as well. Which makes, I guess, composure makes sense. I never thought about that. So you could try to jam somebody if they happen to be at range 2. You can get a focus action, as the Reapers have white jams. So you don't end up. You're allowed to use composure in that way, and then tactical officer to make the coordinates white. So major.
I think that's one of the few times I've seen like not a silly use of composure. Like that's a legit, like, let me try to reach it and it doesn't, I get a focus. It's cool. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you have two actions that could actually fail.
Yeah,
and they're both white. Composure actually makes sense there, just a little bit. Yeah, because your coordinates could fail as well if you're trying to coordinate Duchess out to say range 3 and it doesn't work. You just grab the focus, so not too bad. The only thing here I have, and I think Duchess is a little loaded down with juke and shield, but she needs to be taking evades, especially if she's getting coordinated. That shouldn't be a problem. She can still modify her offense then. But most of the time, she's either arc dodging completely, so she can take a focus, or needs that juke to be a little defensive. The big question I have here is advanced sensors on Darth Vader. It says after you reveal your dial, you may perform one action. If you do, you cannot perform another action during your activation. Does that block out Vader's ability then?
Yep.
Okay, so why don't we take that off right away?
Yeah,
Drop
he
that
needs
off of
fire
there.
control system.
Mm-hmm. Let's put fire control system on. And
look at all these points we got. Look at this, 16 points.
16 points all of a sudden. And so I'm actually.
So he was saying that he wanted fifth brother, right? Does that get you enough to get fifth brother in there on Duchess?
Yeah, for the gunner.
Yeah.
Well, I can't put fifth gunner on Duchess for some reason. Oh, because we're in hyperspace.
We're in hyperspace. That's it. Hyperspace.
Flip the table.
All right, so you're not hyperspace. You can do it.
Yeah. So the other thing I don't like is hate. Hate on Vader is only going to give him 4 extra force charges. And I just don't think that that's necessary. What I do like is sense. It says during the system phase, you can choose one ship at range 0 to 1 and look at its dial, which is going to help you get Duchess and Vermeil their shots that they need to know which way your ailerons in, or if you need to ailerons at all. And I think at that point, the list is fine. Change advanced sensors to fire control system, hate to sense. And then if you want a bomb on Duchess, maybe the seismic charges or something. You could
I-
go that route, or
I
just
really
keep the
like-
big bid.
I really like seismic charges on strikers. I think
There you go. Throw it in.
they just move so fast, and
Mm-hmm.
if you're playing against somebody who is like an original first edition player, they're gonna forget that the striker has bombs on
Oh,
it.
you just gonna randomly drop a bomb.
You're like,
I was like, "Oh, I guess I'll drop a bomb.
like, oh yeah, I'm gonna drop a seismic charge. You go, oh crap, those things have bombs now.
Yeah. So with that, you still get a 10-point bid for Darth Vader and Duchess.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure what else you could do. I like the shield. Maybe
Yeah.
outmaneuver instead of juke would be the only other thing I'd tweak on that, but I think that's pretty good with that 10-point bid there. What's your thoughts, Marcel?
Yeah, so I was thinking, I'm not a big fan of sense on him. I think I know why you would do it. It's just so you can decide with Vermeil who you're going to
Yeah, to say jam or
yeah, but at 6 points, it's a little bit much. I would go with on Vader. I would switch that out to just brilliant evasion.
But we
And
don't know how many points that is though.
that's not out yet, dude.
It's 0 because
Oh,
it's
it's not?
unreleased.
Well, and then in that case, I would just either just completely take it off, just leave them with fire control system and afterburner.
With a 16-point bid.
No,
Okay, but that's what you said. You said just leave it, be done.
yeah, well,
Walk away.
leave Vader like that.
Okay.
But just put a shield upgrade on Vermeil, because he's basically a big. It's not just a basic support ship. He's a support ship that's trying to do some work. That leaves you at 12-point bid, but it gives him a little bit of extra survivability there. So he's still at like 1 bid better than he was when he started this, by dropping that advanced sensors.
Okay.
And you still get, you get the bomb, you get you get fire control system, afterburners, juke, bomb, shield upgrade on your 2 other ships, and the rest of the stuff is the same.
Yeah, because to second a point about not having advanced sensors, you still have the coordinate from Major Vermeil to give you that advanced sensors like effect, even though it's only at initiative 4.
Yeah, not only that, you can advance sensors, and if you advance sensor Vader, he can take he can use the Force to do extra.
Exactly. Yeah. If he gets coordinated before his dial, he could spend 1 or 2 Force charges.
Or if he has a blue maneuver set on the dial, he can just get coordinated a focus to a boost. To a barrel roll.
Yeah.
And then just clear that.
Yeah, I would say I think this looks great. You're just gonna have to protect your Vermeil when you fly this. I think he's the easy target to go after right away.
Yeah, you got to keep him. You got to keep people guessing where he's going to be.
Yeah, love it. Cool. I think it's, and one of the things he said in his comments was the fact that he's having trouble getting Vermeil's guns on target, like making sure he has quality shots. That's, what do you guys think? Is that comes out to practice, making sure you're picking the right lanes?
I think Vermeil, if you're having a hard time getting shots on target with Vermeil during the first 45 minutes of the game, it's not a problem. I actually think you're doing a pretty good job, because if you have Vermeil around after the first half of the game, and he's around in the second half, he at that point, that's when you worry about making him an offensive threat, because he's there to coordinate, he's there to jam, he's there. He's a support ship. He's not necessarily there to do a lot of damage. That's why you're putting juke and doing that kind of stuff.
All right. So couple of tweaks there. Hope you enjoyed that, Brendan. Our next list is submitted by Michael Pettigrew, and I did see a couple people asking, can I submit a list? Can I submit a list? Our show today is all patrons. All of our patrons had an opportunity to submit. They're the ones that make all this possible. So thank you to them. And if you are a patron, I make posts on the Patreon. By the way, if you're also a Patreon, update your Patreon. We moved to monthly. Just update your tier. Read my little article. It's very fast. All right, next one. Michael Pettigrew, excuse me. Rebel list, Hyperspace. I have Dutch and Wedge get fully modified proton torpedo shots. Dutch gives Wedge a target lock. Lando gives Dutch a focus, and Wedge takes a focus and then nukes a target. Nian gives Lando more blue options, so more opportunities to give extra actions. I mean, this is Alpha Strike list, right? That's what this comes down to.
Yeah, I like this quite a bit actually. You don't have the Initiative 5 like Nora Y-Wing that we normally see, but it's still you still get 2 double modded shots, and then also Lando single modded in his shot as well.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty good. I've been looking at the same, just Lando, Wedge, and then another third piece, and this one sneaks proton torpedoes in it.
Yeah, I mean, we know the proton torpedoes are good, even with the price increase. 4 dice, you get that extra crit in there. A lot of things have less shields, so you're able to get those crits in sooner. The crits are worse. I mean, seems really solid. Now, here's my question. What are some things that this is going to be susceptible to? So, I mean, they have pretty decent initiative, but is the problem the fact that you're sitting at 200 points, you don't have a bid, and if you have somebody with maybe more maneuverable ships at a higher initiative, you might not ever get that Eiffel Strike off?
Yeah, because if I was thinking that if Dutch can't get the target locks, Lando could just give him the target lock action. So you're actually locking ships at Initiative 5. But if their whole team's Initiative 5, they might not be in range yet for the initial Alpha Strike.
Yep.
You have to really try hard to make sure that Dutch. Well, see, like they wouldn't have moved yet. So if Dutch can't get the target lock, then Lando won't be able to give him the target lock either. So that's going to be something you have to look out for. You got to make sure that at least Dutch gets into position.
You know what?
Without a stress.
From what we've looked at, this list is going to have trouble with that scum list we looked at earlier with all the 6s.
The 666s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This list does not want to see that. But yeah, I mean, I think the basic idea of what you got going on here, Michael, is really good. You're going to have to work on making sure that you have that range control down. And I think you might even have some opportunities where might be a little bit unconventional, but you use Dutch against your higher initiative ships as a blocker to get in the way to make sure that you can get Wedge with that proton torpedo off, that you can have lanes where Lando has opportunities to shoot. One of the other dangers I do see with this as well is this list sounds like it wants to fly in a pseudo formation. I know Lando has some room, and I think your Lando play is going to determine the success of this list. You got to make sure you give yourself enough room not to be super predictable. Because one thing I've seen with a couple of lists like this is they'll just kind of fly them in a little block. And it can get a little bit predictable movement-wise. And you have somebody who has some maneuverability, that's going to give you problems. But I think I
fully agree with you there. But Lando and Dutch have range 3 abilities, so they are telling you that you should spread out.
Yeah. So make sure you're open up at 200 points. There's no room to add anything here, or I mean, without any of these upgrades, it pretty much doesn't do what it does. So I mean, I think for what it is, I think you're set. I think this is the ceiling for these pilots with the point of what's trying to go in here. I don't think there's anywhere else to go. Marcel, any thoughts?
No, I'm playing around with it in my head. I think you guys said it. It does what it wants to do already. I think if and then never mind. I was thinking, I said ions earlier, so no, now my head's on ions. I was thinking if you put Dutch ions, that gives you 6 points. You can put Leia on there. You can put, you can throw a Leia on there. You can put a dorsal turret on Dutch. So you've got dorsal, you've got Leia, and you also put a trick shot on Lando. So you got Lando with a trick shot and Leia. You've got the proton, and again with Dutch, you've got 2 arcs with the dorsal turret, and you're doing a little bit less damage, but then again, Dutch is there to give target locks out, and if you can use Dutch as action economy and doing muddying things up, being a target early on, so Wedge and Lando can finish the game. Maybe not a horrible idea.
I think with your solution, what you're doing is you're giving this list a better mid game. Like from what you got here, this is like Alpha Strike, right? You're like, I'm coming. I want to start this game. I want to punch you in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
But if you either don't get those torpedoes off,
or you're flying against all 6s,
right? Or you're flying against all 6s, do you have more tools? So definitely a different way to look about it. So.
Yeah, and plus those if you've got Lando, and you can coordinate something, and then you're gonna end up with a white Talon roll or a white K turn on Wedge, being able to turn around by giving Lando trick shot. Yeah, you give Lando trick shot, you give Lando Leia, and then the dorsal turret on Dutch. Then at that point, you reduce potential 2 damage, let's say, on the opening strike, but you give everything after that first opening strike, you give so much more 3-point mid game. Like after that first initial strike, now you know where they're going to be if you ion them. You've got trick shot to roll extra dice. You've got Leia to K turn and keep guns on target. You got other tools.
All right, so we have quite a few lists left, just kind of looking at our pace right now. I think we're probably going to try to do about 2, maybe 3 more, depending on the speed we can get them done. Anybody else who got them left, we're going to say, don't worry, we're going to save them. The points aren't changing. We have plenty of time, so we're going to save them, and we'll get to them next week. Maybe we can touch a couple each week. I know that we also we didn't have opportunity to even talk about the new article that dropped with the Grand Republic. So we got a lot of stuff to cover, a lot of lists to talk about. So let's hit a couple more here. So this next one is brought to us by Thomas, T-E-H, Chrono Trigger, the misspelled. I think those are actually his initials. It's a Rebel list. He's saying, I'm debating, let me go ahead and give you the ships. We got another Hera list here. Hera with AP5 and Kyle Katarn. Equipped on Hera, we have 9-num, the Ghost Title, Collision Detector, Dorsal Turret, Magva Yarrow, and Veteran Turret Gunner. AP5 with Leia Organa. No title. I'm pretty sure he probably wants the title. If he has the Ghost on there, that's probably supposed to be on there for $199. And Kyle Katarn with the Sheathipede, with the shield upgrade and the Moldy Crow. And he says here, I'm debating the bid for this list in reference to the new sensor spot. Yes, if you haven't noticed, the VCX did gain the sensor slot. It's one of the few that gained a slot. Kyle is fine as is. The shuttle title and trick shot are my toss-ups. I'm wondering if 3 points is worth missing one of these upgrades. So here's one of my things with the bid, right, is at Initiative 5, I almost feel like if you're not going 10 points or more, I almost think don't worry about a bid. Am I wrong there? What do you guys?
100% right. You either take like a 1 or 2 point bid, or you take a 10 and greater. Like you take as much as you can. You start stripping up everything to get that bid. Yeah. But that's normally when you have multiple ships looking for a bid, like that 666 list you were looking at, or a 5 and 6 list. So I don't think you need a bid in this list. It would be nice for Hera, but it's too expensive.
You work out her ability more on trying to maximize some of your other abilities you have. You got that veteran turret gunner, being able to do those double taps with the dorsal turret, getting yourself into position. Kyle's just good.
Is that triple taps? I forget what the breakdown on that video was. Can you triple tap with the veteran turret gunner?
No.
No.
Oh, it was the Han.
That was
That's
the
right.
Han, yeah. And you couldn't do it anyway.
Turns out. Okay.
Yeah, I actually got to go back and take down my dash double tap video because it's no longer legal.
Good riddance.
So actually, as you guys talk about that, I'm gonna go do that like literally right now. So, since I remembered,
Okay.
thoughts on the list.
I would just because I guess I'm assuming you're docking AP5 into Hera, so you actually just want to put Leia on Kyle. That's the first thing, because you can't use Leia when she's being docked.
Well, maybe our assumption for AP5 is wrong. Maybe the ghost title is an accident, and it literally is just a coordinate platform.
That's fair. I like it. I kind of like to docked in there, but because you're still coordinate when it's docked. You just coordinate the Hera instead.
But so let's hold on. Where's those titles? I just want to double check because it's not something we see super often. So there's ship ability, comm shuttle. While you are docked, your carrier ship gains coordinate. Before your carrier ship activates, it may perform a coordinate. I think one of the problems is you can't coordinate yourself. So if the point for him is if he's trying to coordinate Hera, you can't be docked.
You do the old composure trick then.
True. Actually, he does say he's in chat right now. He says, "I was docking, but why can't I use Leia in reserve?"
Because
she's not on the board.
Yeah,
she's not. She actually doesn't even get charges back if she's docked either.
If it's off the board, we actually talked about. I think I talked about that in the video. I did have to do one on docking, but yeah, there's no. It's off the board.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, you have the open crew slot on Kyle though, so you just gotta ship him over.
There you go. So Leia, get in the tubes. I mean.
Yeah, none of these ships have missile slots, so I guess you can't take Leia.
Sad. Refer to about 45 minutes ago for that if you're confused.
Yeah, so I mean that's one way to do it. I just assumed that AP5 was coordinating Kyle, because coordinates Kyle focus, then Kyle can sling it to Hera if need be.
Mm-hmm. Wait,
what?
No, nothing.
Other than that, I think all these upgrades look great. The collision detector, it seems really popular. Is that the best system slot for these freighters, the VCXs? Because you can't take trajectory, so it's either advanced sensors or collision detector.
No, you have to take collision with Hera because you're trying to keep her dial open, moving her at. You just want to put her out of harm's way and doing as much damage as possible, and you don't want to worry about rocks about it.
That makes sense, because she's going to be K-turning and hard 1 and hard 3 in when necessary, so makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not quite, like I said, it was just the question about whether you can, what the actual plan with AP5 is. But I like the idea of having Kyle in there. That's a thick Kyle too. He's got shield upgrade and molded chrome. Yeah, that's a real ship out there all of a sudden. But and it has I really like Leia. This is my new favorite thing is white stop moves with Leia.
Yeah,
that's so good. Just not move and take an action. That's super good. And the Sheath of actually can get a white reverse. I didn't even think about that.
Oh, true that.
Reverse?
Oh man, yeah, they have a 1 reverse now. The Sheath of feeds.
I never saw that.
Well, people aren't flying Sheath of feeds lately anymore.
Oh my god, they have a reverse.
Back it up.
Back it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna start looking at 4 Sheathopeds and a U-wing. Oh no, it doesn't fit. Anyways.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I think it looks good though. I like Megan Var. She went up a little bit in points, but I think it's because she's really good.
Yeah, I mean, just being able to get mods. You're like, oh, you shot me. I get a mod. Yay.
Yeah, and Hera's gonna struggle to not take, like, if someone has a shot on you, you're taking a damage.
Yeah.
And I like how it works with the reinforce as well. So that's a perfect upgrade. Yeah, it looks like everything's fantastic on it. Because I assume you're just trying to stack as many modifiers on Hera as possible, so that's why Kyle's in there. And I can see why he's trying to coordinate, so you can coordinate a focus, and then Kyle can throw you a focus, and then you can get a target lock, so you're getting 3 different attack modifiers there.
All right, so we're gonna hit up 2 more lists here. We're gonna hit a resistance and a first order list, and we'll save the rest for next week. So this is from Steven Dogood. Dogood? Is it Steven Dogood?
Don't you have the pronunciation right there, or is that his?
I don't know. Dogood? Maybe that's his like screen name or something. Either way, he says. It's a resistance list. Now this is actually a hyperspace list. Sorry, the other one was just miscategorized earlier. Says, I really want to take advantage of the resistance character's synergy and give the bomber some flexibility in how to use dice mods for all the different situations that may arrive. Taking advantage of the extra dice result Finn gives. Period. Problem is the Finn-Ray combo is very expensive, and I wonder if it's worth it over another veteran turret gunner. So he's got a double Star Fortresses, 2 Cobalts, just dressed to the nines. 93 points for one, 106 for the other. One has fire control system, Rose and Finn and Ray. Whoa. And then the other one has advanced sensor, C-3PO, veteran turret gunner, proton bombs, pattern analyzer, page, seismic charges, and a bladed plating. Thick. Whoa. Thoughts, gentlemen?
I'm going to agree with them. I think you need the veteran turret gunner on the Rose one. You want to be rolling as many dice as possible and getting as many target locks as possible then. So, plus, if you have Finn, it does work on the veteran turret gunner and double tap out the front as well.
So take off Ray and put vet?
Yeah. Yeah, then a bomb as well, if that fits.
Your choice. Which one do you want?
Good one? I don't know. Actually, just probably a bomblet generator.
Really? Bomblet generator?
No, I guess that is the worst one.
Yeah,
it's because I wasn't gonna bring both proton and seismic. Bring them all. I know.
I think
I feel like if you have 2 bomb slots and you're gonna put proton bombs, I feel like you should put bomblet generators.
Yeah.
But I agree. I think just straight up proton bomb is better than a bomblet generator for the same price.
So
yeah.
Go ahead, Marcel.
No, you guys talk about it because I was playing around and it's a completely different list now.
Yeah, all of a sudden, you start changing 1 or 2 things, it's all of a sudden a different list. Yeah, no,
but it's similar. When I was looking at stuff, it just, for example, Paige just really wants to be on Finch. It just works really well on Finch because you can
100% agree.
Yeah, because with Finch and Page, when you get shot, you can put a bomb anywhere, and then at the system face, put a bomb on the other angle, and basically cover any escape route that a ship that's nearby might have, and just cover all your angles. How are we gonna
we're gonna have to find what is that?
Oh, I found it. I'm at 199. So I took the bottom guy and turned them into Finch.
Okay, the bottom one, turn them into Finch. So now we're at 107. Make me legal.
All right, I took the advanced sensors, made that fire control system on Finch.
Okay, fire control. Boom, we're at 199.
All right, I took You got Rose, you got Veteran, you got Protons, Finn, Seismic. That's the same. That's the same. That's the same. Actually, yeah, you got it right there. That's what I got.
Okay.
No trajectories.
That's one problem. How are you gonna consistently get those bombs where they need to go? Because these guys, you can't do anything cute in like K turn and drop a bomb the following turn. Like you got to set that up. You almost
True.
have to set up like at a 45 in the middle, bank out. Then does that even give you, or go straight? Does that?
I think you just get rid of pattern analyzer and ablative plating and just put the trajectory on the Cobalt, because again, Finch has a way to do things creative with the bomb. But yeah, if you just take those and bring Cobalt up to a trajectory, because at that point also with Page Tycho, you're taking advantage of the fire control system and doing other things with it, so that fits in there well.
Oh,
and
I
that
guess
gives you 4 points to.
One mistake that was made in building was that ablative plating is actually not even hyperspace legal. So.
Oh well, there you go.
Yeah.
So we just made it hyperspace legal.
Yeah, I just feel like
if you swap that, it's gonna clear that.
I just feel like if you have two bombers, my opinion is that they both, if you only have two bombers, I should say, they should both have veteran turret gunner and probably launching bombs. I just don't see how your damage output could be. Like, I don't know what list it would be for like upgrades where I'm just not sure you could keep up with the damage race if you both aren't trajectorying right off the bat.
Would you get rid of C3PO?
Yeah,
because if you get rid of C3PO, then you can put trajectory on both.
Yeah, I think that's what I think. Both sets of bombs, proton seismics, Page on Finch for sure. Veteran turret guns all around. Trajectory simulators on both, and then it's just the question of what is your who is flying the other Cobalt, who's not Finch, and like what is your crew members. I love Rose though. I don't think you need Finn. I would probably drop Finn for trajectory.
Actually, you can change it to Cat at that point, and just
Cat's really funny with Page, because you do drop Page when Finch shoots. So that bomb would be out there to give Cat an extra attack dice. That's exactly how I'd run it.
So just swap those around, put Rose, Finn on Finch, and put Page on Cat.
Exactly.
Right, so, okay, wait.
Yeah, so basically just swap around the list.
Go up to
just leave it exactly the same. Just swap who has the upgrades. Put Finch at the top.
Finch at the top.
Cat at the bottom. Because you said you want
Finch. No, you still need Finch with Page. It's just that Finch drops the bomb.
Oh, Finch drops the bomb close to the ship that
Cat is going to shoot
at. Okay, now that makes sense.
Yeah. So that way, Cat can actually get a 5 and a 4 dice attack with that veteran turret gunner with Rose. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's the kind of damage output I'm looking for.
That is evil. Yeah, so
that is evil. Look,
yeah, I like that.
So that already looks like a significantly better list. It just damage output wise, at least.
Yeah, I think that's what you're gonna struggle with two bombers. Is just the damage race, because they're gonna be chewing into you guys. So you guys only got 24 health and 1 agility, so you're not gonna last long out on the board.
Yeah, no, this looks rolling 5, 3, or 4 and 3 dice twice, and then getting rerolls and doing all that stuff. Looks good.
All right. That is that one, and we're gonna go ahead and jump to a first order list.
Actually, wait. Actually, there's still Finn on your build there.
Yeah.
That could actually be a 6 and 5 dice attack. So look out for that Cat. You do not want to be range 1 of a bomb with that.
Yeah. So basically, Finn is just being the reusable target lock at that point.
Kind of, a little bit. All right, we want to do one last one quick.
one last one. This is from Nick Hartzell. Hopefully it loads quickly. Not sure. We're having some internet issues. Gold Squadron headquarters, so things are going a little slow. That very interesting black screen. There it is. There it is. So we're doing the first of his 2 lists. He says, I put together a couple Upsilon mini swarm lists that I thought might be fun to compare for pure jousting efficiency. I'm one of those players that loses patience easily. This guy wants to get in a fight. He's like, I want to fly at you and roll some dice. So he brought Captain Cardinal in the Upsilon shuttle naked. If you're not familiar with Captain Cardinal, his ability, he has 2 charges. It says, while a friendly ship at range 1 to 2 with lower initiative than you defends or performs an attack, if you have at least a single charge, that ship may re-roll 1 focus result. And after an enemy ship at range 0 to 3 is destroyed, lose 1 charge. So as your opponents go away, this ability goes away. And he brings with it a TIE-SF Zeta Squadron Survivor, which is at Initiative 2, which Cardinal, by the way, is Initiative 4, so how this works. Can only be lower initiative to use the ability. Brings the Special Forces Gunner to get that extra die, and the double tap front back when you have it pointed out the back. And the Advanced Optics. Another one of those, same exact build, and then Long Shot with Advanced Optics as well, and Fanatical. And if you're not familiar with Advanced Optics allows you to, when you perform an attack, you may spend 1 focus token to change a blank result to a hit result. So, I mean, it sounds like Nick wants to kind of line up across from somebody and just try to do as much damage off the bat as possible. Is this list going to be able to do it?
I actually like the combination. So between Captain Cardinal and Advanced Optics, you can reroll an eyeball and then change a blank with Advanced Optics. So you're actually still double modding your shot.
Yeah, just a different way, a roundabout way to get it. Yeah.
The really weirdest way to double modify, but it works though. Like I can't deny that actually makes sense. It does work. And you're shooting 3 dice between basically all 3 of the ships around him, Long Shot, and the Zetas. I think it's very interesting. When I would say if you're looking for an easy or not if you're looking for a quick game, might need to start looking into those Dormants builds of like basically just lining up across from somebody and jousting them real fast. But I do like that this sneaks in 2 different SF fighters, though. Or 2 total, rather.
2
not
total,
2 different
yeah.
ones.
Yeah, I mean,
you played with a lot with the generic SFs lately, haven't you?
Yeah.
Or when they came out, anyways.
Yeah, for Outrider, I was practicing them. One of the issues is this might really work well in the opening joust. But I think with an opponent that plays, so Nick even says it. He's like I'm impatient. He likes to get in it, which is nothing wrong with that. But in a tournament setting, I think this list is going to be flustered, and he will be flustered by an opponent who's extremely patient, is coming around from the other side, making you chase him through the rocks. Captain Cardinal's ability is only range 1 to 2. And if you end up overextending these SFs, which are your hardest punchers, without assuming Cardinal's out there, right? Which of course you want him to be there. That's 4 attack dice. You want to make sure you're getting those on target. But those SFs can get eaten up real quick. They are not extremely defensive. They can pack a punch. You can get 4 dice at range 1, which is nice. But being at initiative 2 and again, if you end up just being overextended just a little bit, you could lose one of those SFs in the opening volley, and your jousting efficiency can go away very fast if people are working on picking you apart and not jousting you. Now, in a jousting situation, I think this has some legs. Like you said, Will, you have those double modifiers kind of hidden in there, and if you're getting 3, 6, plus 4, 10, 11, 12, 13 if you get long shots ability off on 13 red dice into one ship. You're gonna do some serious damage on the opening joust. I worry against ships and lists that want to play slow, that want to play the long game. I don't know what to change here. I don't think there is anything to change because he has it optimized for what he wants to do.
No, I think it looks great. I mean, I think that the advanced optics plus the Captain Cardinal makes a lot of sense, and then it's just bringing in as much tech dice to make use of that combination.
Yep.
So I think it works great as it is. It does have a 1-point bid, but I don't think you can buy much for that though.
Not in the first order.
No,
nothing
you can
generic.
just do like that unlimited range coordinate, or jam,
Yeah.
but that's situational.
All right. Well, I want to say thank you to all of our patrons who helped us out, providing us some lists to talk about. I love doing this. It's so fun, and with the new points dropping, it gives us an opportunity to get into that mindset of analyzing new combinations, new ways to play the game. And I mean, new lists are fun. Now, where I'd like to close here, gentlemen, is you don't have to give anything away, but is there a faction that with this new point change that maybe you're looking at competitively that you would not have before?
Well, I'll start. I would actually say that with the points change, I'm looking less at Scum and more at Rebels. Empire is still about the same for me, as far as I think, you know, how the change affected them. I think they're still very good, but my interest has been piqued in Rebels lately. As I said earlier, I've been trying to fly B-Wings because I think that they're really good right now. I just don't know if they have a place in the meta, per se. But we have seen some success with them before the points drop, so...
True.
Now you get Leia, which really makes B-Wings super nice.
Free Leia torpedo. I think we have to make an alt art torpedo Leia. I think we have to. Give me some gunboats in the chat if you want a Leia Organa missile. Let me know. Marcel, what are you thinking, man?
I'm actually on the same boat. I still think that the Imperials overall are going to dominate. You know, let's say on the top tables. But I'm looking at Rebels as well. Something that more than I was before. Actually, let me say that differently. I was not looking at Rebels before. I was looking at mostly Scum and Resistance, a little bit of First Order. But now with this changes, I'm looking at Rebels and I'm looking at them. Like a couple of the changes that happened actually fit my play style a little bit more, specifically the E-Wing and Leia. Just the combination of the E-Wings and Leia just open up so many different potential lists that I'm looking at.
Yeah. And I'll tell you for myself, with the limited amount of time I actually get to sit down and play, I actually was really grateful for the Polar Vortex, being able to sit and, like, people submitted lists for me to play and stuff like that. That was a lot of fun. And I don't want to be the broken record, but I'm agreeing. Rebels are looking more appetizing in the extended format. Not 100% sure in Hyperspace if that's still the right call. With some of the things that are not available in there, because not in Hyperspace, not much changed for Rebels.
What? No, they have Falcons at over 10 points cheaper.
Wait, are they in Hyperspace?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's Leia.
So it's Leia. I mean, the two main things, Leia and
Falcon, I would say.
You can still put Leia on.
How did I miss that the Falcon was Hyperspace legal now?
It's actually the only ship that you can't buy a second edition pack of. That is Hyperspace legal.
It wasn't Hyperspace legal before, though, right? Like, I'm not crazy.
No, because the 3 ships that have second edition expansions are U-wing from the Saws,
Right.
X-wing, and Y-wing,
Y-wing.
and their 4th ship is the Falcon.
Okay, I'm. So yes,
I know. It's because we weren't looking at them because they cost over 100 points just to put on the board.
they
But now
they were practically not even there. That's what it was.
yeah, we literally weren't even thinking about putting them in lists. But now you can fly an 85-point Nidnub Lando, or then with 87 with Leia on board. Now I think it's a little bit better. I'm looking at that a lot more.
All right. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
That's how much I paid attention to that Falcon in Hyperspace. It wasn't even there in my mind. So yeah, this was a lot of fun, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who submitted lists. And I want to reiterate again, guys, the Patreon change to monthly. If you haven't updated yet, do it now. It takes only a couple minutes, and if you do it before February 28th, you get the bonus swag. You want the bonus swag. You want yourself the frosted Poe. You want, we got all kinds of stuff. We got the double-sided art. Just get yourself the bonus swag. Get it updated. Super easy to do. Any shout-outs, gents, before we head out? Guess not. So,
go first, Will. Might as well give somebody a shout-out.
I'm going to give a shout out to Team Iowa. Started up a Vassal League. Trying to get more time on Vassal in preparation for the Opens myself. So me and a couple of previous Des Moines guys are playing in a league. I got stuck flying Resistance. Well, not stuck. That's what we chose.
I've been stuck.
We chose Resistance, so it's gonna be interesting. I'm flying that list I flew on stream the other night with the Ford T70s,
which is gonna be live on YouTube actually tomorrow morning or tonight. I have to look at where the scheduler, but it's in the next 24 hours. It'll be up. I got it all edited.
Yeah, so you got a couple of games up from the Winter Vortex stream. So, which I think went great. I'm a big fan of that. I think we should do that more often.
I talked to Mrs. Gold Squadron podcast, and there was a lot of people who really enjoyed that. We were able to stream for a long time. We were playing games, kind of hanging out. It was a little bit more laid back, but we're also playing.
Yeah, unfortunately, I just don't think that the stream gets involved too much at the store. That's the only disconnection problem that.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed.
That happens.
So we're gonna make it happen. It might be like a once a month thing, where we're on for a few hours, get like 3 or 4 games in. If you want that, you gotta let me know if you want me to invest the time in it. If that's what you guys want, we'll see what we can do. But you guys gotta tell me. They got to communicate. This goes 2 ways. And, of course, those games would all be put up on YouTube, all that stuff. Marcel.
Shout-outs. Let's do a shout-out to the entire country of Canada.
We're coming for you. It's mine.
Be gentle, okay? Be kind to us. So be friendly, be kind, and we will not turn away a beer.
Now, I'm super excited to hang out over there
fun.
and to play. I get to play games. Make sure you tune in if you haven't followed VTTV live. They put on a great stream, and they're going to be covering the Canadian System Open there. So super excited about that. And I'm going to be playing, even if I'm doing terrible. I'm just going to play. Okay, no drop and commentate for me. I know you guys like when I commentate. No, I don't. I'm playing. I'm there to play. Okay.
You're there to win. That's what you're doing.
That's right. America. All right. Speaking of streams, we cover System Opens, Hyperspace. We're doing a Wave Championship the following weekend. All kinds of stuff. Follow us on Twitch. Follow us on YouTube, subscribe, smash like, all the things. Okay, hit us up. Make sure you stay tuned. We're live streaming 4 days a week, minimum, right now. And then when we're in like tournament season, that's gonna be like 5 days and 6 days. What if I told you there's gonna be a world where you could watch Gold Squadron podcast stream every day? What if I told you that? It's not a reality yet, but maybe, maybe soon. We got to 6,000 subscribers on YouTube, guys. We did it. Clap for you. Keep it up, guys. Thank you so much. Next goal, 7K. Let's go. If you haven't subscribed to YouTube channel, come on, be nice. It's free. Just click the button. Make it. It feels nice. And if you haven't yet joined our Discord community, anybody can join. It's absolutely open to the public. There are some patron-specific roles and rooms for patrons only, so we got some special spaces for you guys to chat a little easier with us. But if you want to be part of the Gold Squadron podcast community, join. It's free. Links in the chat below. And if you're watching live, you can go ahead and type !Discord to get the invite link. And lastly, but most importantly, if you want to help support the channel and get awesome swag while doing it, go to patreon.com/Gold Squadron. Also, current patrons, update. I'm going to be talking about this all the way to the 28th. Let's make sure we get everybody updated, because if we don't have any money. Because that's how it works. Like, oh, you want to move to monthly? You can do it, but you don't got any money until people do it. Update. So help us out. Thank you. Love you guys. Help us out, please. We got to pay the bills. For Will and Marcel, my name's
Skippy.
And Skippy. Oh, we can't. So we are going to be doing. I need to figure out the rules, but I want to do a contest to figure out a Force Skippy upgrade card. We have to do it.
Oh yeah. We got to do it.
We have to. So that's coming. The future. We got to let you guys go now. Bye. Gold Squadron out.